Unlisted videos, insider drops. The only way in is through my private SMS list.
Gavin Newsom just blurted the line that tells you everything at the Obama Presidential Center opening when an MS Now reporter cornered him off script about the DOJ probe. Newsom snapped. This is stuff that happens in other countries. That's all I'll say. Other countries. That's the defense. Not here are the books, not here are the contracts, not here's the money trail. Gavin Newsom reached for the Banana Republic script because the facts are crushing him. And the worst part for California's media cartel is this. Joe Concha just torched the central lie. This investigation did not start with Trump. It began under the Biden-Harris administration. And that changes everything. See, it matters because Gavin Newsom and Jennifer Newsom did not build a brand on honesty. They built a machine. Source after source points to Jennifer Newsom's nonprofit steering money into her own orbit, including payments to her own film company and funds from a Native American tribe backed by Governor Gavin Newsom. That's not abstract ideology. That's the blue state ruling class using nonprofits, donor pass-throughs, and insider access like a personal cash conveyor belt. Then when the spotlight hits, Gavin Newsom starts whining about Donald Trump in 2028, like the country is supposed to ignore the paper trail because his ambition got bruised. But Joe Concha dropping the brick through the window. This probe began under the former Biden-Harris administration. Even Adam Schiff, racing is the panic lawyer for the California cartel, could not bring himself to say there was no merit. He said, I'm not saying there could never be merit. Exactly, because there can be merit. And Gavin Newsom knows it. See, Gavin Newsom's meltdown is a good reminder that when corrupt elites crack supply chains and trust at the same time, your family pays the price. So let me ask you, if a major disruption kept you from the store, how long would you last right now? If the answer is less than a month, go to preparewithgary.com. See, they're America's #1 preparedness company with over 3 million satisfied customers, and their best-selling 4-week emergency food supply comes with an additional week of food for free. This is the best long-term storable food from the most trusted folks in the business. At least 2,000 calories a day, real meals, real ingredients, no artificial flavors, no artificial colors. And shelf life measured in decades. So grab your free week of emergency food now. Depend on yourself, not Gavin Newsom's racket. And here's the detail. Gavin Newsom's media bodyguards want buried. While he screams that Donald Trump put him on an enemies list, his former chief of staff, Dana Williamson, already pled guilty to federal fraud charges just last month. See, that's not a vibe. That's not a social media spin war. That's federal heat touching the perimeter of Gavin Newsom's orbit. Now I'm going to show you some of the receipts. And I'm going to walk you through the panic post because the cleanup operation has already started. Now, this post caught my attention today. It's going viral. Everyone's posting it, and for good reason. You'll see now.
Show some respect, you people. You're talking to the best governor in history. 4th biggest economy in the world. Oh my goodness, we thought he was out injured. The crowd is losing their minds, and look at the governor's face. No way. Quit your crying. I'm just like you. I got 960 SAT scores. Frankly, I think we are nothing alike. I don't need illegals to vote by mail to win an election. Give me $100 billion more from my California high-speed train, and I'll leave you alone.
Okay, I'll think about it if you do one thing.
Acknowledge me! Oh, what a slap! He's rocked! Chair shot! Right to the skull, he's down! Thrown over the top! He's crashed through the announcer's table! Absolute carnage! I'm the boss! Now Harris comes into the ring to confront the commander-in-chief! She takes a super kick to the face, and she's out cold! Completely out of it! Here comes Jeffrey he's running down the ramp. This is Jim Crow 2.0. He slammed that team into Obama.
Voter suppression. Oh, man. Tell me that was not funny. So the parody hits because Newsom's ego writes the jokes for him. Now watch what happens when an MSNBC reporter corners him on corruption claims and he blurts out, "This happens in other countries."
First Lady, I just want to say hi. We're live on MS Now. I just want to say hello real quick. Katie, just 1 second. I'm going to give them a chance to say hello to some folks. Governor, Madam First Lady, it's great to see you both. We're live on MS Now.
How good is that?
Two things. Quick reaction to this, and then you've been very, very forceful in your condemnation of this DOJ investigation. Into both of you, I would love for you guys to both address this and what's happening.
All on contrast today. I mean, I walked up. A couple of people said when they walked upstairs, they said they were crying the whole time. And I looked at them. I said, I'm good. Got up there, literally started tearing up. And I think everybody feels that spirit and that pride that we've been missing. And we didn't even realize how much we've been missing it. And we've been missing it because of the divisiveness. We've been missing it because we have people that, frankly, are unworthy of their positions. And there we saw on stage people that were worthy of what our founding fathers lived and died for.
What was it like for you to be here today, Madam First Lady?
So joyful, the singing, the dancing, the incredible speeches. They're just incredible role models, and their values are American values, and we need to revive those and provide hope to everybody.
We heard from the governor, but we haven't heard from you yet about this investigation. What do you want to say?
I'm just so grateful for this inspiration and leadership. We need more of this.
Hey, this is stuff that happens in other countries. That's all I'll say. Happens in other countries. Who wants to go after me, go after me.
It's nice to see both of you. Madam First Lady, it's great to see you. Thank you, Governor. Thanks.
So Newsom tries to duck the question, but that defense falls apart fast. Joe Concha lays out the key fact: the probe started under Biden-Harris and not Trump. Listen.
That this is a Trump-led investigation. This investigation began under the Biden-Harris administration. That's interesting, right? So, no, this isn't even the Trump DOJ. They're just continuing what the Biden and Harris administration started. And basically, it's all about this nonprofit that Jennifer Newsom runs. And she has been able to steer contracts in the direction of certain companies. And then, obviously, being the First Lady of California, there may be a quid pro quo going on here. And it's very telling, by the way. Daily Mail has done an investigation showing that she pays herself well over $1 million to run this nonprofit that does not take in a heck of a lot of money on top of those contracts that they're going out to. So overall, this is not a good look at all for Gavin Newsom.
So even with Concha knocking down the spin, the Democrats still run cover. Next, Adam Schiff tries to cast the DOJ as the villain while admitting there could be merit to the case.
So I've been on the president's enemies list since he was president the first time because I led his impeachment and I served on the January 6th committee. So for me, this is nothing new. But I served for almost 6 years as a federal prosecutor. And to see the Justice Department so badly abused, to see the mass defections of prosecutors, ethical prosecutors, leaving the office in Los Angeles where I serve, leaving offices all over the country, it is really horrifying. There used to be a presumption, when I was a prosecutor, it was certainly the case, that prosecutors were acting in good faith and judges gave them that presumption, juries gave them that presumption. That presumption now has been flipped on its head. And in any case where the president announces that he wants his opponents investigated, the presumption should be flipped on its head. That is, there should be a presumption of irregularity. There should be a presumption against an investigation when it's one the president is calling for of his political enemies. So I think we have to assume that these are political, that these are not based on fact until proven otherwise. But to see the department used this way is doing lasting damage to the rule of law in America. And it's not just the president using the Justice Department to go after his enemies, he's also using it to protect his friends. So he's pardoning criminals that do business with his family. He is making investigations go away involving corrupt allies. The mayor of New York, the former mayor of New York, had been indicted on corruption charges. Donald Trump made those charges go away because the mayor was useful to him on other things. So we're seeing more corruption, not less, as a result of this Justice Department and its use against the president's enemies.
But I mean, the difference between you and other politicians who have been the target of some of these investigations, their ex-chiefs of staff were not indicted. And that's the case for the governor, where one of his advisors and chiefs of staff were, caught up in this corruption case that began with the Biden administration. I mean, is it out of the realm of possibility that there could be a legitimate investigation here, stemming from that at least?
Well, my understanding is that the governor's former chief of staff said the governor had no involvement in what she ended up pleading guilty to. So that's as much as I know of the facts of that. Look, I'm not saying that there can never be merit to an investigation, even when it involves someone that is not a fan of the president. But what we are seeing, what we have seen, is such dramatic proof of the abuse of the department. The indictment of James.
Okay. Yeah, we all know if there's anyone that wrote the book on abuse, it's Adam Schiff. He wants viewers focused on process, not the corruptions. Meanwhile, FBI is out doing what Democrats rarely do, hauling a fugitive tied to a $3.7 billion Medicare scam. Ibrahim Khaldoon Hilmi, this is FBI Director Kash Patel posting, charged with one of the biggest Medicare scams in history, allegedly orchestrating a massive $3.7 billion scheme to defraud Medicare. He's been on the run since May of 2025, but we got him thanks to outstanding work from FBI Miami, the Justice Department, and our partners in Turkey. Hilmi was apprehended overseas, and after a foreign transfer of custody, he's back to the U.S. to face justice. Yet another massive win for the FBI's war on fraudsters, with the White House task force led by J.D. Vance, and a monumental victory for the Trump administration, showing that any criminal actor who steals from the American taxpayer will be caught, no matter where they try to hide. And there is the photo. And now we're going to show you the fraud suspect captured. Another one, $1.2 billion Medicare scheme.
Second most wanted fraudster. He's allegedly behind, listen to this, a $1.2 billion Medicare conspiracy, billion with a B. White House officials praising the anti-fraud task force's role in making this bust.
This is why this task force was so important, because it has focused all of the resources of the federal government on doing this. The Biden administration could have gotten him. They found plenty of time to arrest people playing outside abortion clinics, but instead they let this guy run away with all of his money outside of the country.
And David Spun is joining us live from Washington with the latest on this. David, DOJ has been busy making these busts.
The department really has, Bill. This captures part of that administration's approach to highlight fraud. Sure, other Justice Departments in the past have caught fraudsters and did it for decades, but this time the FBI and DOJ put together a most wanted fraudster list with 8 people. 2 are already in custody in just 3 weeks. Herbert Kimball joins the list of those captured after he was taken down in the Philippines. According to authorities, he targeted the Medicare system to the tune of $1.2 billion. Investigators say he operated a sophisticated call center operation, and his conspiracy involved orthopedic braces and billing Medicare. He operated in the Philippines, where he was picked up after fleeing the U.S.
So the fraud must matter because Americans are sick of elites acting untouchable. Back to California, where new reporting zeroes in on Jennifer Newsom's nonprofit paying her own film company.
Newsom's nonprofit reportedly took cash from a Native American tribe that operates a casino in the state and was backed by her husband, while her other charity reportedly paid her own private film company directly. But the Newsoms, well, they're pushing back.
Donald Trump isn't just coming after me because of my mean tweets. He's coming after me because I'm considering running for president, because he hates that I've consistently called him out over and over again for his lies and deceit. One by one, anyone who has challenged Donald Trump has ended up on his hit list. And today, I proudly join that list.
Why does he talk like that? But just last month, Newsom's former chief of staff, Dana Williamson, pled guilty to federal fraud charges. Joining us now for tonight's...
So that brings us right to the inner circle after those payment questions and the chief of staff guilty plea. Now we dig into the panic building around Newsom's operation. Trump Daily Post. Major cracks are forming inside Newsom's inner circle as his chief of staff suddenly walks away. Federal heat closing in on the California power couple at the worst possible time.
A lot here when you start digging into some of the nonprofits, some of Jennifer Newsom's extracurricular activities. What more can you tell us that we should be aware of?
Well, first of all, who knows? It could be politically motivated. John Bolton made that argument, and then he ended up pleading guilty. It doesn't change the facts. And it's been known for a long time that Gavin Newsom and his wife have been tied up in this very shady practice of what we call behested payments. Now, they're legal under California campaign finance law. Basically, politicians ask big money donors to give contributions to nonprofits of their choice. But in Newsom's case, he asked donors to give money to his wife's nonprofit organization. And sometimes these donors were, as you mentioned, the Native American tribe before, they were interests with business before the state. So it raises questions of conflict of interest. That was already out in the open. That's in the public domain. And it's very shady. What else might be going on in her tax returns, we've yet to find out. But we do know that Gavin Newsom's former chief of staff has pleaded guilty for fraud and corruption, and the rot is pretty thick in Sacramento.
Oh, it's pretty thick. President Trump about to cut right through it. So the moral split in this story could not be cleaner. Gavin Newsom mutters about other countries and Adam Schiff cries abuse, while the Trump administration actually hunts criminals. Kash Patel just hauled Ibrahim Khaldoon Hilmi back to the United States to face charges in a $3.7 billion Medicare scam after he ran overseas. On top of that, Trump's FBI nailed another fugitive tied to a $1.2 billion Medicare conspiracy. That's what law and order looks like in real life. Vice President J.D. Vance's White House task force locking onto fraudsters, the FBI dragging them home, and the Justice Department finishing the job. One side chases the money, the other side protects the machine. Gavin Newsom stands with the machine because he is the machine. So here's the line that nobody in Sacramento can scrub out. Gavin Newsom did not answer the allegations. He did not open the books. He did not explain why Jennifer Newsom's nonprofit paid her own film company. He did not explain the tribe money. He did not explain the donor pipeline. He hid behind dictatorship theater, and Adam Schiff rushed in with the usual regime tears. Meanwhile, Donald Trump's administration keeps stacking wins, from the Biden-era Newsom probe continuing on the merits to the Trump FBI hauling in billion-dollar fraud suspects who stole from taxpayers. That contrast ought to infuriate every decent American. If Gavin Newsom is clean, then release everything. Every contract, every donor record, every payment trail. And if California's press corps want to keep babysitting him, fine. We'll keep naming names while they run cover. So drop your take below and pass this segment on to somebody still trapped inside the Newsom myth. And watch how fast that myth craters when the documents hit daylight. And you know what else needs to hit daylight? Notifications, right to your phone. That's why I set up this telephone number, 844-840-4963. Thousands and thousands of patriots are getting the truth sent directly to them when the YouTube notifications fail. All they're doing is texting raw feed to that number, and they're staying on the inside. And time to celebrate some more wins with America 250 upon us. Check out the merch shelf below this video or go to shop.nextnewsnetwork.com.
The system controls information. Information control is power. I want you to see this. The truth only survives together. They don't want this shared. Share this now.